Hello again, Tordan here, and this is Advanced Voxelmancy 301. The circle is a lie. So the first piece of news today is that I am now giving away my 16th wedge, as well as the 1/8 wedge. This will be available on the same method as the 1/8 wedge. The easiest way to get it is to follow the links at the top of the page to send me a Discord message. The reason that I'm not giving the exact location here in the videos is actually threefold. The first one is that from time to time I might change where I'm distributing them from, and that way if it's embedded in the video, I'd have to go update the videos. The second reason is that I want the opportunity to shake your hand, say hi, make sure that everything is copacetic. And the third reason is that if you are not on Dual Universe's Discord, you really should be. It's the primary point of communication for Dual Universe, even more so than their forums. It's a great place to ask for information, get information, see pictures of cool builds that other people are working on, all sorts of great information. So it also is used very heavily by all sorts of organizations for inter-org communications. So all those reasons are the reason why I would like you to just send me a message on Discord, and I will gladly send you the location of where to come get the wedges. The second piece I'd like to talk about is that if you see my wedges for sale, don't buy one. They're not for sale by permission. I'm giving them away. And so you're one, shouldn't be spending money, and two, they're selling them without permission. All right. The third thing I want to talk about is, and this is a bit of a reiteration, advanced voxelmancy is not always the fastest or easiest or simplest way to do anything. It is the precision way to do stuff, or the way to do the thing you want instead of the way somebody else wanted or the way the default tools work. But in some scenarios, if what you want is there in a default tool or in an existing library, by all means you should use it. My methods are not the only methods out there, and there's some great things happening and available out there in the world, and you should pursue them all and use a combination of them in all scenarios. All right. The what we're going to do now, though, is talk about circles, and the truth of the matter is there are no circles, right? I've talked about this before. The closest you can come is a polygon that approaches a circle. Uh, and for equilateral shapes in Dual Universe, we of course start with one block, and then we move to a 2x2. All right, and a 2x2 has available to it 8 sides. All right, and that gives us an octagon to work with for our initial circle sizes. All right, and we can have an octagon that is the shape of this 2 voxel square right here, or we can make it one smaller or bigger. But for this first video, to talk a little bit about the methodologies that I'm going to use, I'm going to make a simple 2x2 octagon that has the what's called the circumradius that runs from the center out to the point on the surface right here, 1 voxel away. All right. Now to do this, we have to use some math. All right. And the math that we're going to use is trigonometry. And fortunately, we can cheat just a little bit and use some great tools that are available to us on the web to get a large way there. So there's a great website called Calculator Soup that I highly recommend. They have a really nice regular polygon calculator. And if we go up to here and we choose an octagon, and like I said, we're going to do the circumradius here of 1 and hit calculate, and then scroll down a little ways, and we can see that they've given us a whole bunch of the information that we want. And specifically what we're going to want is this inner angle right here and this side A right here, because what we want is this point. What we want is this point right here. All right. And to get that point, we're going to imagine a triangle right here. All right. So now we have some of the pieces that we need here. This side right here is A here. We have a right angle right here. So we've got one angle there. We've got another angle right here because we know what x is, and 135 is going to be half of x. All right. So we can now go up to our very nice little triangle theorems calculator and put in some of those numbers. All right. So we have two angles and a side. So we're going to go ahead and choose the AAS here. So we have the A angle, which is going to be the 90 degree because this is the side that's opposite it. All right. On this one here, we have this A, and the angle that is opposite it is going to be the 90 degree angle. So we're going to put 90 degrees in A. We're going to put the side A that we have, which is this number right up here, the 765,367, right here in our side A. And then our last angle, which is this angle B, is 67.5 because that's half of x, right? So if this is x right here all the way across this space, then half of it is going to be this inner angle right here. And then we'll go ahead and hit calculate on that, and we wind up with the side we want. So the B side is opposite the B angle, and this is our B angle over here in our octagon, and what we want is this side right here because that's the distance from the center out to this point, right? And it's telling us that it is going to be 7.07107. But what we want to know is actually how many sixteenths that is. So now we're going to pick on one more website. Wolfram Alpha, if you aren't familiar with it, is a great mathematical computational website. It can be used for a lot of things. This is kind of overkill, but I wanted to tell you about Wolfram Alpha. So I'm going to go ahead and put in x over 16 equals this number and hit calculate on it. And it goes, oh, great. And then it will solve for x down here and tell me that it's 11.3. All right. So what we want is 11.3 sixteenths. Well, we're going to fudge it a little bit. We're going to go ahead and just use 11.5. If you were making the perfect library for yourself, then you might want to try to get to a little bit closer to 11.3. But if what you're doing is you're making a pillar for your house or a pipe for your ship, then you won't be able to tell the difference, and neither will anybody else between 11.3 and 11.5. The reason that I'm going to go through the machinations of cutting it in half is because I've been getting a lot of questions about how to do that. So keep in mind that the math we calculated is calculating from the center of this 2x2 to here. And so when it says that we need 11 and a half, or 11.3, but 11 and a half, it means from this center point right here. All right. But our wedge calculates from the center of a voxel. So from here to here is our first 8 points, and then we want 11, so we want 3 more. All right. So what we really want from the center of the voxel is 3 up and 3 over, or 3.5. So we want the 833 and the 844, and then we want the point in between them. All right. And I've gotten a lot of questions about how to split this up and get additional points. So I'm going to, in this particular case, I'm going to actually walk through this whole thing. All right. So we're going to go to our 8. That's this spot right here. All right. So this is our 8. And then we're going to go over 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, this first one is 0. And this second one is 1, and 2, and 3. All right. So this reactor right here, this one right here on the corner, is our 833. All right. So I'm going to select this one. And we actually want 844 as well because we want the spot in between them. So I'm going to grab that now. And this gives us our 833 and our 844. I'm going to copy that out, come over here. I'm going to rotate this so that our 8 is the upper surface, because that way we can work from top down. And I'm going to separate these out because we want to put the points in between them. I'm going to take this and exit out. I'm going to go here, put this. this out. Now you could, of course, as you're working along, if you want to save these points for use in the future, you could expand your wedge. Obviously, then it was going to take up a lot more room, and put the points in between, or you can make a separate table of various points that you need, or reference them however it works for you. All right. But the point that we want is the one that's above this highlighted cube right here. And the way that we're going to get there is by shrinking a couple of points in between, and it's going to take us 3 different shrinks to get there. All right. So the first spot that we want is halfway between this reactor and this reactor. So we're going to grab the 1/2 of that one and then use the rules of dominance to just go ahead and get a thread right there. And then we also are going to need the point between here and here. So we have this one and this one. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and select this entire reactor right here, then control mouse wheel down the selection tool. So I just get the center. Come over here, 1, 2, 3, up. Choose my area select tool, area shrink tool, I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It only takes 3 to actually shrink it all the way down, but I usually use 5 in case the server's lagging or whatever. I managed to cover up any slipped clicks. And then 1, 2. All right, so there's our first point that we're going to need. So come back over here. I'm going to use shift paste in this particular instance to bring that line down to the point. All right. Then repeat that process over here. So again, control mouse wheel, so we just get the center. Come over here. 1, 2, 3. Area shrink tool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Select tool. Paste my reactor. Cut that out. Come over here. Again, I'm going to shift click to replace the thread with a point. All right, but that only got us partway there. We still need this point, which is halfway between here and here, or halfway between here and here. All right, and we don't have all those points. However, if you recall, this is the 833, this is the 844, and the those are symmetrical reactors. So it turns out that I can use the laws of symmetry to grab here and here, copy this. Now I'm just going to flip and rotate like this. We want that way. All right. And the good news here is because we're symmetrical, if we come over here to the corner now, you see that this is exactly the same reactor, flipped and rotated. This is the exact same reactor, flipped and rotated, which means we've now automatically gotten this one, and this one. All right. So we'll go ahead and paste that in there. Now we can easily get this spot using the same method we used before. So we take this half and 1, 2 up, and then grab this reactor and copy that and go up and paste that in place. And again, we have a thread in there now, and we want a point. So again, control mouse wheel down the selection tool, come over here, 1, 2, 3, area select tool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, selection tool, grab the reactor, paste that, grab our reactor out of here, use the cut because it cleans up the space there. And then again, here, we're going to again shift-click to replace that line with a point. So this is our missing corner for our simple octagon. All right. The other corners are all the actual corner. All right. So I go ahead and grab this corner right here, copy, come over here. This is our literal corner. And our literal corner covers, well, all of the corners, right? We're only replacing this one corner right here. The rest of them are all normal corners. So I'm going to grab this corner right here, come over here, and we have one of those, and one of those, and one of those. And then our last corner is this one right here. And I'm going to rotate that using the R key, of course, to be facing the way that we want it, which is this way. Up and paste. And then we can go ahead and drop a block in the middle. All right. And there's the piece we need. So we're going to copy that, come over here. So this one is this first one. Rotate that twice and place it here. And then we're going to change colors. We'll rotate that again. And place it there. And then rotate it twice. And place it there. All right. And now you see we have our octagon. All right. And if we take this and we stack it a bunch of times, we have a really nice pillar, right? Nice and clean, and it can be whatever. The nice thing about a flat is that we can offset this pillar the same way we would offset a cube, for instance. And if I can do this by just grabbing the corners of reactors, or I can kind of do it this way. So if I drop this here, right, this is the top of this one. If I go down one, right, this block is now the top of this one going to that one, so that's actually offset. If I want the elongated version, I can place this here, and then I can rotate this like this, go up, right? So this is going to be, let's say here, right? Go down a couple, go up one more, there, right? So this is sort of the megavoxel version, right? It's going from the bottom right here up. This is a pillar that's now extruded. So basically it's one deep, but it looks like it's two deep. And the advantage here, of course, is that I can now set this down on top of this block right here, or a floor, or some other cylinder, and it won't distort because it's not actually there, right? It's looking at that. There's actually an air gap between that pillar. All right. So that is how you calculate and make circles. In Advanced Voxelmancy 302, we're going to make another larger circle. And then we're going to talk about how you can deal with the slopes between those two circles. But before I wrap up this video, I'd like to talk about the fact that this one was an entire voxel length here. But I could do exactly the same thing with the 0.5 right here. So I could, in my original calculation, instead of making the in radius a 1, if I make it 0.5, then it will tell me the 0.5 point. It will allow me to calculate this. That would give us a 1 voxel wide, right? So from a half voxel over to a half voxel over. We can make additional sizes of octagons using just simple math, and then grab the appropriate reactors from the wedge and create them the points that we need to get, basically any size pillar. The circle tool that's built into the game doesn't know how to make small pillars or small octagons like this, but we can create them all the way down to the smallest we possibly want, including a little tiny round peg type octagon. All right. The other thing is that we can easily make cones out of this. If you think about this for a second, if we have this corner right here, right, this is a flat, but imagine, if you would, that we simply use a point at the other end. So if I grab my corner, the top part of my corner right here, and we're going to go ahead and rotate this, 1, 2, like this, so it's upside down. And then I'm going to make it be lined up the same way this one is. We'll go ahead and put that there. And now we'll take this and go here. We really only want the top 4 reactors in the center here, but again, laws of dominance, do that. We now have our piece here that goes to a point, right? And I can place this down 4 times, right? So I could go up to here and place this. We'll do multiple colors again so it's clear what's going on. I do that. And then we go ahead and choose another color and rotate once and go up and rotate twice and go up and place it in the right place. And lo and behold, we now have a cone. All right. And we can do this with any circle. We can do it with the points there. We can do it with offset points. We can do it with offset circle and offset points to make much longer cones. This is an easy way to get a simple conical point to a wing or a nose cone or anything like that, right? If I simply offset my my corner point out one, then this would be twice as long. All right, and then if I offset the flat up, and then I can have a 3 voxel long that's really only, you know, the 1 voxel in height, but is rendered up and down. All right, so that is Advanced Voxelmancy 301. Like I said, in 302, we're going to expand upon this to make a larger circle, and then talk about how the circles are going to interact as we begin to make various other types of shapes that are curved along multiple planes. So again, this has been Advanced Voxelmancy. Please feel free to follow me on this YouTube channel. I appreciate if you subscribe. It helps my numbers. I'm also doing live streams on Twitch TV under the Tordan on Friday nights for sure, at 2 o'clock UTC, which is 7 p.m. Pacific time, or after daylight savings time starts, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Additionally, there's links at the top of the page for my Discord to contact me. I also have links for PayPal and Patreon donations. I work a lot, which is one of the reasons why there's been a bit of a hiatus between the last videos. So if people help support a little bit, perhaps I can record more and work less, which would be fabulous. There's of course no pressure whatsoever. I'm enjoying doing these as a service to the community. So, but if you'd like me to work less and record more, then by all means feel free to donate a little something to the cause. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.